Hi Kiwi, and welcome back to a new episode of Hades 1. This is our mirror setup for the day. We are going to be taking the Aspect of Poseidon and we are going to be going for another 50 heat clear. I have tried the Aspect of Nemesis. I am just not good at playing the sword legit. The special dash strike meta works great on low heat. I cannot do 50 heat well with it.
Poseidon's an incomparable fool, I'm ashamed to call my brother.
Well, that's funny.
He can shake the earth up there all he pleases. He is unwelcome here.
So we are taking the Aspect of Poseidon with the and we're going to be building around his cast. I am using two mods this run, the starting boon selector and the guaranteed story rooms mod, story rooms mod. But I don't know if we high rolled on RNG there or if this is just a really or if it's guaranteed if you're using the Aspect of Poseidon. Whatever the reason, that is really funny that he just calls out Poseidon like that. We're gonna see what Chaos gives us. Let's see, come on, give us a cast. Nope, we do not get a cast, but more coin is okay, and we're not gonna be using our attacks super much here since we're gonna be depending on the cast. An important thing to recognize is I am not taking any levels of damage control, which normally is a free 2 heat in any high heat run, but it just ruins this build. Anyway, I gotta be careful not to use my attack. We only need the special, frankly. But the basic idea here is using the Aspect of Poseidon, you hit an enemy with your cast, the cast gets lodged into them, and when you hit them with your special, the cast gets lodged out of, or dislodged from them. The Poseidon cast has a pretty solid base damage, so even though we are dealing with Calisthenics program, increasing the HP on enemies, it is going to still 1 to 2 shot most enemies in Tartarus, and as we get later into the run, well, we're going to hopefully get some good tier 2 Poseidon boons to make up for the damage we lack. We're going to be prioritizing HP in a lot of instances. Gods that we want, Athena for survivability, Artemis for Mirage Shot, of course, or if we're even lucky enough to see it happen, her Legendary, which will give us 2 extra cast stones, and of course we're going to have to try and take every Chaos Gate we can get, because more cast stones just legitimately increases our overall DPS pretty substantially. Another really important reason we want Artemis is because of exit wounds. Every time a cast stone leaves a enemy's body, they take a flat amount of damage, and that will increase our DPS pretty substantially. Hermes will be nice just for giving us the passives that benefit our cast, although they aren't really that powerful on this build, so I'm not going to prioritize them over getting set up for rush delivery, which could do a lot more damage in the long run than getting an extra, a faster reclaim of our cast. That said, just because I can't, well, use Nemesis well, doesn't mean I won't be using our dash strike, our special dash strike combo often enough for DPS when our cast stones are unavailable. Do I take this? More cast damage sounds nice, but I'm gonna save my coin because really what we need to get this run off on a good foot is damage, and damage is going to largely come from boons. Not to mention, we definitely need at least 1 more boon to sell before the end of the floor, or we're gonna lose the entire basis of our build in the first place. So, as far as what I want to talk about today, Kiwi, first off, I want to briefly mention, because it's thematically appropriately, Epic the Musical, because in that there are 2 songs that Poseidon sings, or someone obviously playing Poseidon. So Epic the Musical is basically a musical version of the Odyssey. If you like good music, if you like musicals, if you like the Odyssey, or even just want something loosely adjacent to things related to Hades, especially Hades 2, definitely give it a listen if you haven't already. It is great, and there are animatics that beautifully animate the songs too, so all around a good time. Title Dash is not what we want here, but I'm going to take it because I'd rather not reroll here. We will take the Sisyphus room because we want the coin, as much as another reroll would be nice. Hey, Sisyphus, give us that money. Boldy, if you don't mind. Alright, so we're in a bit of a rough patch. We're down to 2 HP, but I guess we are running Stubborn Defiance, so maybe it's not that bad. More max HP means more HP every time we die, so we'll go for HP here. Not that we have a choice, but usually we see a God boon coming out of this, but I honestly, the biggest issue is tight deadline right now. We need Razor Shoals, Poseidon's first boon, as soon as possible, and any tier 2s that increase his the slam effects of our knockaway boons. So hopefully we see something in the way of damage soon. Anyway, so I digress. Poseidon sings 2 of my favorite songs. Like, I really like the singer's voice to begin with, but Ruthlessness is hands down my favorite song in the entire musical. And Get in the Water I wasn't as into until I just listened to a bunch of covers of it, and it kind of made it into a joke. More on that in a second. Ruthlessness first. So, fun fact, I thought that the chorus was ruthlessness is mercy upon our sails. It is mercy upon ourselves. In the context of the song, it still made sense because you're on a boat, you have sails, and I figured like our sail, like I interpreted our sails the same way I would interpret ourselves. They're referring to the collective group when they say being ruthless to your enemies gives you peace of mind, gives you a smoother sailing, pardon the pun. Unfortunately, that did land on our dash, but thankfully the Palm Blossom is giving us some nice rolls on the cast a couple times. So our base damage isn't amazing, but it will only increase from here is my genuine hope. Anyway, again, Ruthlessness, there's something about powerful drums, like just a very, like the emphasis on the percussion in a song that is just like full of genuine anger. It's such a powerful song, and it really emphasizes how terrifying Poseidon was supposed to be to these people traveling on the waters. I'm gonna take the death here for the HP. We're at 47 HP every time we die. Good to know. Oh gosh, we need to take this Chaos Gate. I think I'm gonna play it safe and not take the Chaos Gate just because we're right before a boss, but I really probably would benefit from it.
Should come in useful.
We'll take Rare Crop here. It does hit the cast, and we get an our greatest reflex, so this is pretty good for us. All right. I think we're in a pretty good state for Meg right now.
No.
We just spam cast, hit her with her special, and just rock her world. Anyway, so I Get in the Water is just funny to me because every time I hear it, I just think of the meme of from what is it, Neon Genesis Evangelion, get in the damn robot, Shinji. I remember commenting on that video, just get in the water, get in the damn water, Shinji, or something like that. And I laughed to myself. I don't think anyone like noticed it, and that's fine. Ooh, we are on a tight deadline. I definitely think I can kill her before tight deadline hits if I. Good, I got her face. Now I just need to get my cast stones and then spam it. Okay, I think we're fine. Oh, I'm dashing into every shot of hers. All right. Unfortunately, auto target is making us hit her minions, but I still think we're good. What was that cast started turning away. Thankfully, she still got caught in the AoE because it exceeded its limit, but that was silly. It didn't want to hit her, I guess. Poseidon's on Meg's side this run, I guess. Anyway, so those are my two favorites. Those are two of my favorite songs. Raph Scrap, a cover artist that you're quite a fan of, does a phenomenal cover, and definitely no one is dying of thirst with that song playing in the background when she sings it. I mean, her entire chat is just full of thirst. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I digress. I want to talk about, for the rest of this episode, something that I'm really excited about, and that is RuneScape Old School's first ever new skill in over a decade, sailing. So, Kiwi, you don't have the context for this, but growing up in RuneScape, sailing was something that was teased about or thought about as like the next new skill for a very long time, and it never happened until now. And like there were some pretty interesting alternative skills that they posited, and I think you and I were both kind of like disappointed that sailing was chosen. But I am so darn happy with what they did with the skill. Like, I genuinely am enjoying it, and I'm gonna kind of recount my early game experience. I'm currently, level 60, I think, at time of recording. It's been out for about a week, but I know there's some degree of mixed reception. Also, we got Hyper Sprint, so that will set us up for Rush Delivery, hopefully. We'll stick with HP. There's no benefit to getting hammers on this kind of a build, so HP is definitely the preferred option. Anyway, the thing I want to say here is, I guess I'll kind of just recount my overall experience with the skill. The thing to say first and foremost is, so sailing has a history with anyone who's a veteran of RuneScape, like I am. I've been playing for almost 2 decades, as terrifying as that is a thought to think. We go for the shop for the free time, even if we can't get a boon. And so it's always been kind of like I didn't know how much I wanted it until it was an option to have, I guess. And now seeing what they did with it. Do I take the Palm Slice? It would hit our cast. I'm gonna do it. It's probably not worth it, and we are getting an Athena, which is great, although, I mean, that was probably to be expected. We did take her keepsake. So, anyway, hopefully we get her dash, or at least set ourselves up for a Death Defiance. I need to remember to kill myself after this is done so that I can potentially get a Death Defiance. Although, you know what, we need a Core Boom before I can do that, so never mind. Anyway, so let's kind of just go through the overall experience. So first off, sailing. What's it like in the early game? So prior to Sailing's release, they had a teaser trailer of song done by, I think his name is Alan Walker. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with him or not. The name is familiar, but it might just be because that's the name of the main character of D. Gray Man, and that's why I'm thinking of it. I might also maybe be mixing up his name with something else. Whatever the reason, the name sounded familiar. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with his music, but he seems to be kind of an EDM sort of musician. But he did a cover of the main sailing theme from Old School RuneScape, and they animated the entire song, and it is so much fun. It was such a fun video to watch, having NPCs dance. There was so many memes baked into that video that I can't even know. I couldn't even possibly know all of them, but there are decades of references, and just, it's all around just a fun watch. Even if you don't get the references, it's just fun to see characters dancing and partying and getting super hyped for Sailing's release. So all in all, great time. So day of release, I happened to have the day off conveniently because Wednesdays I usually don't work, and it was released on a Wednesday. Okay. I'm gonna go for the trial. It's probably a waste of time. We really need to be careful about tight deadline, especially if our damage isn't so good, but honestly, the Poseidon boon here could make or break our DPS. Athena could give us a Death Defiance. There are two really good boons that we could get here. Really hate to see that Razor Shoals being locked out and us getting forced into Tidal Dash. I have to roll this because we do not want to give up Athena's dash. Ocean's Bounty is not great, but it's better, I guess, than what we had alternative. I love how we literally have two boons, and Poseidon's like, here, why don't you stay with two boons? Thanks, Poseidon. You're great. Anyway, so day of release, I log in. I hear that the main screen theme is just the proper Old School RuneScape sound font for the song that I heard from Alan Walker's music. And so I'm like, oh, that's really cute. I like that. Sailing starts off by going to a place that you pretty often go in early game RuneScape. You're at this port all the time for a various number of quests, getting access to the Jungle Island, Karamja, and you do a silly quest where people trick you into piloting their boat so they can find an ancient medallion. You get dropped off at a kind of island capsized ship sort of area and do quest things. It's basically a tutorial for sailing, and that's exactly what it should be. You proceed then to kind of get your first boat and go out on the water, and your first boat is actually just a raft. But there was something just so weirdly heartwarming and like just gave me this like pure sense of joyous nostalgia of everyone is playing RuneScape together, experiencing something new for the first time in the form of a brand new skill. And there was just something so incredible about that to me that I actually like boating from the from Port Sarim to the Pandemonium, or vice versa, I forget which, brought a small tear to my eye. And like Kiwi, you know I'm overly emotional for the simplest of things. I am like the most saccharine nonsense monger out there. And you know what? That's fine. That's who I am as a person, and I'm comfortable with who I am as a person. I got emotional and cried over RuneScape having a new skill, because it just weirdly meant so much to me. I can't really explain it. There was just, again, something so beautiful about seeing so many people doing something that had never been an option before together, even if it's kind of an individual experience. Everyone's there, and you know, it's the classic MMO experience nowadays. Single player in a community. And it was so nice. It was just so genuinely nice. And so then I kind of got into the main kind of gameplay loop of sailing early on, which I have mixed opinions on, but overall I find it very chill, very soothing. And that's the courier system, where you get tasks at a board, and you get tasks at a board and you deliver cargo, and people call it like Amazon Worker Simulator or DoorDash Simulator, and you know, fair. That is fair. You are basically going from one place to the next, and people argue it's kind of a bit of a mini game, but I don't mind it. I honestly, like, it's super chill just to be out on the water, and I was too busy enjoying the music. They did, like, it is incredible what they can do with the RuneScape sound font to continuously make songs that genuinely still play in my head. Like, I am sleeping and I am just hearing that music play in my head, and I am enjoying it. I am loving it. So I think, do I take Acorn here or do I lock in more Poseidon boons? I probably play it safe. We're still running the sword, and our damage is not amazing, but the bull is going to tear me apart if I see when I see him. So let's play it safe and run the Acorn here. Anyway, I digress. The music is great. It kept me engaged in the skill, even though, like, the early game is admittedly a little dry, and the experience rates on release were pretty rough. They balanced them. I think they increased the overall experience rates by like 20%. They also made a checklist system, a collectathon of sorts, if you will, where throughout the world there are things you can interact with that check off a list, and as you complete that list, you get little experience drops and sometimes extra rewards that add benefits to the skill or the overall experience. And I mean, I grew up in the age of Nintendo 64 collectathons. I love a good to-do list in a video game within reason. Like things like Breath of the Wild's Korok seeds, maybe a bit in excess. That's where I maybe draw the line, where it's a little bit too much. But the nature of this is it lets you explore the map, and my goodness, Kiwi, that's useless. And that's actually kind of not great for us because it's gonna mess around with how I use my special to dislodge casts. That's unfortunate. Hopefully that doesn't completely ruin the build. We'll see. I think I'll just have to, yeah, oof. That's definitely gonna take some getting used to in the middle of a run. Unfortunate. Oh well, we'll make it work. I just have to play a little safe. At least it makes us sturdy, so we take 30% less damage. Anyway. So yeah, the early game was very rough, admittedly, for a lot of people. For me, I was just having a nice chill time, and I had no complaints. I genuinely had no complaints. Yeah, the experience rates were low, whatever. The charting of things on the map, I loved it. It entices you to explore, and they basically doubled the map size, because on paper, you know how it was, or maybe you don't, but RuneScape is a world. There are multiple continents that are divided by ocean, and now all of those oceans are accessible pretty much, which is insane. And then they added more ocean with more islands, with more things to interact. They added islands to the oceans. Oh, there's our Patroclus. All right, we'll go ahead and take that and hopefully get ourselves a nice juicy res before Hades. Hopefully it makes it to Hades. We never know. We usually need to depend on a 2-chamber Styx, which we are not often lucky enough to get. As much as I'd love that mini boss for the Poseidon boon that it offers, I don't think I risk it here. Hopefully Poseidon shows up here. Yeah, it's Demeter. What a surprise. We got our special again. Woohoo. I'm not gonna. Ooh, okay, there's our mini boss. We'll go ahead and take the mini boss this time because it's not up against a mid shop. And we got Butterfly Ball, which is so much more preferable to what we could have had otherwise. And like, I mean, we do not want to see a mini boss bowl if we can avoid it. Honestly, Butterfly Ball just melts with most builds if you have even a baseline of DPS. All right, there we go. Poseidon, give us Razor Shoals. Come on. Oh, we're getting Blizzard Shot, but they're not gonna actually. Yeah, that's what I thought. But 30% more damage to bosses is actually huge for us. I'm not gonna complain about that. Blizzard Shot would have been way more damage for us. But again, this is fine. This is actually a great boon. It doesn't help us with the trash mob rooms though, but it does help us with pretty much everything else. Well, pretty much the bosses, which are objectively the scariest part of the run. Easily where I'm going to take my most risky plays, unless I get a room full of sped up chariots or archers, I suppose. Archers definitely hurt us, but we can play it safe. We can do like a guerrilla warfare with our projectiles potentially. Anyway, so I did the courier system. I loved charting out the islands. I think they did a phenomenal job integrating the skill into the world. Basically everywhere there was a port now has an access for sailing, and you can access pretty much all of these at any point as long as you have the level for them. The world is your oyster. You gain access to pretty much the entire map immediately, but things are cut off. There are dangerous waters that you need to upgrade your boat to properly pass through. And that's another thing. Like, I love iterative upgrading systems where like you start with one tier of item and then you upgrade to the next and progressively see things get stronger and stronger. They do that with construction, and construction for the longest time was my favorite skill in the game. Now I would say it is farming, but construction is still way up there in terms of favorite skills, and that was with RuneScape 3, where they really did nothing with the skill for a decade and a half, whereas Old School made construction even better with so many incredible utility systems that it's like getting an upgraded house is one of the core quality of life things you can do to enhance your account. I digress. So I really like the upgrading system. I like the courier system. I like the charting of the world. And then at level 30, you get your next, or at level 15, you upgrade your boat. There's Blizzard Shot again. Wow, that stinks. Do I reroll here, or do I just take Ocean's Bounty? I feel like I should probably save my roll for other things, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with Ocean's Bounty. We'll take the palm here. It lands on the cast, which is great for us. All right, here we go. The heroes, or the champions. I'm forgetting. I think they're called the heroes. Anyway, this will be a little scary, but we can do this. Not if I destroy you first, Asterius. Take this. All right. So we have decent damage. Anyway, so you get your second boat at level 15, and you start like really getting to kind of explore the world as you upgrade the boat, and eventually at I think level 30 or level 35, the game really changes in terms of how to train the skill, and you unlock the Barracuda Trials. Barracuda Trials are basically kind of equivalent, the ceiling's equivalent to agility training. They're an obstacle course of sorts where you run laps around an area, collecting crates so that you have to travel certain areas, dodging obstacles, and then kind of completing the lap with certain other requirements. But basically, it's kind of like it's basically an obstacle course to run your boat through, and slowly like plotting out the route that I would take to properly complete that course with all of the objectives to get the experience. And they have built-in time trial. They record your fastest time, but if you beat a certain threshold, you get a fancy item and a single time a huge experience drop. And honestly, the music alone made it great, but then the overall experience with it, I really enjoyed it too. I am impressed with how well the boat controls, honestly. Like, they thought about everything. There's a backup function where you can, if you get stuck, back your way out, and it works really well. I have never gotten into a situation where I felt, oh no, I have to like teleport out and reset. It's been really fun. Like the boat movement is fluid, pardon the pun, but it really is. It feels good. And that's emphasized in the Barracuda Trials. I really enjoyed the first one, the Temper Tantrum. I just unlocked the Jumbly Jive the second Barracuda Trial, and I have a little bit more of a mixed opinion on that, but it's mostly a skill issue, I would say. I don't like having to like keep track of where I need to click to keep things going. Oh man, I think I have to give up. Do I roll here? I think, objectively speaking, I do, because I don't want to give up any of these. All right, there we go. That's better. Brilliant repost. Fine to let that go. We'll keep Acord going into Hades. All right, final floor. This is our time to shine. Let's hopefully get a 2-chamber 6 and then just splashy all over Hades' face. Anyway, so the Jumbly Jive is definitely harder. It's objectively harder. There's less room for error because, unlike in the Temper Tantrum, the first Barracuda Trial, if you take a wide turn, it's not that big a deal. In the Jumbly Jive, if you take a wide turn, you get put into like a sludge that really slows down your boat. I'm not a fan of that as much. I'm not a fan of like making this bird have to follow the boat mechanic. I keep forgetting to activate check marks or checkpoints on that, but that's largely a skill issue, and I still overall enjoy it. It's mostly just getting the time trial was really rough for me on that one compared to Temper Tantrum, where I mapped it out and felt really good. Jumbly Jive is also just, it feels bigger. It's rather than just doing circles or like 3 circles, it's more like infinity signs in terms of the shape of the course you take. So it's a little bit, it's definitely more confusing to map out. But regardless, one other thing I absolutely have to like gush about were the quests. Particularly, I think it was the 3rd quest where you unlock the current duck. Not the past duck, not the future duck, the current duck. But because it's so funny. Basically, I think you show up to a port and you offer to help someone, they're trying to get their duck to do something, I think, and basically to get approval for the duck to do its job, you have to negotiate. I think this is it. It's been a week, so bear with me if I'm not fully remembering the plot. But basically, you have to negotiate politics with this this woman who kind of is in charge of everything because the mayor is a goldfish. This town's mayor is a goldfish because no one in town wants to be a mayor except for this woman, and the rest of the town does not want her to be mayor. So they have this ongoing lie that everyone in town has agreed that the mayor cannot die. And so they're on the 27th mayor, which has been a goldfish that conveniently looks like the previous 26, 25 mayors. But they keep telling this woman that the mayor is alive and well, even though the mayor has died like 25 times, all to keep her from gaining power because they really do not like, she is a very like paperwork bureaucratic sort of person who like has regulations about everything. So it's a really silly contrived plot about how you maintain the facade. Oh, hey, we got razor shoals right at the end. That's great. That'll help us with damage, I guess. It's basically just maintaining a facade of the fact that the mayor is still alive, is a goldfish, and trying to keep this other person from power, while also navigating some laws that she has passed that prevent you from like doing some things that you want to do. The entire plot of that quest had me laughing, and it was so fun. And like that was one of the things I love most about RuneScape as a whole, is the writing for the quest always has this wonderful tongue-in-cheek, self-aware humor that I just adore, and I think it has largely informed my personal sense of humor as well, because there were definitely some sailing puns thrown around throughout the quests as well. I have not gotten tired of the skill. I'm genuinely enjoying my experience, and it's been a really fun time, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they iterate on the skill, because as it is, they've already done an incredible job integrating this skill into a bunch of other skills. Whatever. No good boon from Poseidon, but it's fine. I think we're about as set as we could hope to be. Razor Shoals is a huge DPS for us, honestly. DPS up for us, honestly. All right, we're gonna send Hades. This may be it. We may be able to finally clear 50 heat on the sword, granted in the least sword-themed way possible. We're bringing Uncle Moisture to Daddy Darkness is what's happening, and someone's gonna hear that and be very upset with me.
Keep you from your parchment work.
Anyway, I think that's about it. Let's enjoy the fight. I think I need to focus for this a bit more. All right, here we go. All right, Hades, what have you got? All right, we'll go ahead and just get a cheeky special on him to slow him down a little bit. But I think I prioritized killing his whoop, hold on. All right, I prioritized killing his soul stones where possible, just so that they don't cause an issue, or bloodstones rather. Oh, hello. Immediately, that caught me off guard. He shot that from off screen. There wasn't much I could do. We've got 3 minutes, and well, we've got 3 doses of Evergreen Acorn left, so we're doing 400 damage a pop on the cast. I think we have the DPS, but I do think we're going to be running up close against tight deadline here. Mostly, as we don't have Extreme Measures 4 on. I think that's the most important thing to recognize. So we have a pretty solid amount of time. I think on average 3 minutes for a 50 heat run is pretty in the clear. So we'll see. We will see. Definitely see what we got here. Okay, Void Stones are a problem if they're going to shield enemies. So I'll try. If they're going to stay back, I'll try and kill the other enemies first, but I definitely need to take out the Void Stones before they pop shields on everyone else. I mean, the last episode proved it. They're a problem, and sometimes I don't notice that they're on the field, which doesn't help. My goal here is to keep a couple stacks of Chilled on Hades at all times if I can, but that's gotten me hit like 3 times now, so maybe that's not actually 4 times now. It's probably not worth it. I always hate it when I waste all of my Acorn charges for Phase 1. It feels so good to still have Acorn charges left into Phase 2. Unfortunately, that's not the case here, but I think we're doing pretty well. We have a lot of HP, and actually thinking on it, we still have our Kiss of Styx left. So we actually, I think we're in the clear. Like, I'm not gonna say anything definitive just yet. I've got a lot of things I need to dodge here. Okay, whoop, I'm lucky that did not hit me. But I think as long as I just kite him out and play super safe here until I get his minions dead, it's mostly just tight deadline. Tight deadline is getting a little iffy. We've got 1 minute. That said, he stands still a lot more often in Phase 2, so I'm... If I get hit with this, I'd just die, so... Oh, gosh. Alright, well... This is why I said I should not write the run off yet. We're still sitting on that Death Defiance, or Stubborn Defiance, with a whole lot of HP. It's like 220 HP that we get back for this. If I get behind him, I can get some good free damage here. Just keep trying to stack what damage I can. I think this is going to be really down to the wire, Kiwi. I did not manage my time well. This is definitely... We want this pattern as much as possible. The more he lets us get free hits on him, the better. Trying to keep privilege status going by keeping him chilled as much as possible. Plus, it just makes him a little bit easier to dodge if he's a little bit slow. Oh my god, that was 80 damage. All right, there's our 220. We are 30 seconds left. No Death Defiances left. And he's not even halfway through phase 2. Him summoning pots is, again, free damage. Okay, we're halfway through. I need to avoid these pots. This is a free Meg chance. We'll go ahead and take that. All right, she helps speed things along. Okay, we've got 12 seconds left. I actually used his Bloodstone there to get a free hit on him by banking the shot a little bit. All right. Oh gosh. Oh, I do not need to take these hits. Okay, here comes tight deadline. Unfortunately, I'm going to be taking a lot of damage. I just need to DPS as fast as possible. Let's go. Oh my goodness, DPSing as fast as possible is getting me hit. I think we got him. We got him. Yes. Okay. 50 heat. Aspect of Poseidon cleared. There we go, Kiwi.
How did you accomplish this?
With a lot of cheese and a lot of moisture.
Done, boy.
Get in the water, Hades. Get in the sticks.
That's that then.
There we go. All right.
I did it.
Oh, that was rough. That was kind of rough. I am so bad at the sword. Thank goodness cast builds exist. One day I will try 50 heat in a legitimate fashion. That is not today. I just want the clear, and I got the clear. We just have the Twin Fists left, which may actually be harder, and I'm going to commit to not using a cast build on that because I do feel like I'm better at the Twin Fists than the sword. I don't really know what to do for it though, but at least we can run damage control on that one to have a little bit more leeway with the heat. Anyway, what do we honor here aside from the obvious? Rear crop hitting the special or the cast was actually pretty bonkers. And you know what, Boldy believed in us. He gave us 9% cast damage. I didn't realize. Oh my goodness, Boldy, you didn't just believe in us, you spooned us. But there we go. 50 heat on the sword, one more to go, and then we will have beaten every weapon on 50 heat in this game. Which, again, I say this over and over again, was something that I never would have thought was possible for me. And like, we proved that we don't need mods to do it too. Rama.
On this victory, Prince Zagreus observes how death can take hold in so many different ways. At times quite slowly, and at other times.
Rama and Hestia did not need mods to prove that my best weapons can carry me in 50 heat. So there is, I don't know. It feels good, Kiwi. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's go ahead and do our house roundup. Pet the dog for good RNG on the next run.
Pets and live to tell of it, right, boy?
Not sure if I will do the fist run next or wait a little bit. There are other mods I want to play, like unlimited chaos mode, where we have a chaos boon every room.
Do to contain you, I wonder.
Absolutely nothing. I shall not be contained.
Oh, hi.
That's really me up there.
It is. I'm honored for my sword play, where I didn't play with the sword at all. All right, Kiwi, let's go say goodnight to Skelly. All right, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. It is so good to be recording again. I look forward to enjoying more musicals with you and gushing more about sailing while you play your game, I play my game, and watch you play your game on a second monitor. All right, Kiwi, Aspect to Demeter next time. I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm gonna have to figure it out in real time. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Sleep well, love.